This feels kind of weird to stand here and say this, but if you're looking for your own place in New Braunfels, your land, your brand new house, time is running out on you. Today's video, we're going to talk about when New Braunfels is projected to run out of land. I can't believe I'm standing here saying this, but in a way it's not surprising. If you guys are new here to my channel, thank you so much for coming aboard, because every week we're trying to put out relevant content just like this about what it's like to live in New Braunfels. And at some point, New Braunfels will run out of land. I'm going to tell you when in just a second. No doubt New Braunfels, and we talked about it so much on this channel, has seen tremendous explosive growth dating all the way back to 2003, picking up in 2010, and it's been more accelerated since the start of the pandemic in 2020. Our population in one decade shot up 57%. Guys, that's triple the pace of San Antonio's growth and almost double the pace of Austin's growth. This is crazy to think about. Our population in New Braunfels in 2010 was around 58,000 people. Today, it's a little bit more than that. It's over 100,000 people, which has meant a record-breaking pace of people moving to New Braunfels, and it's also meant a record-breaking pace of homes being built in New Braunfels. Since 2010, thousands of homes have been built in New Braunfels, and thousands more are on the way. Once empty fields and green space have been transformed into new build communities almost everywhere you look. And if you see an empty field in New Braunfels, it's not going to stay empty for long. So what's all the demand to live in a town that most people have never heard of? Location number one. We're in between San Antonio and Austin. Then there's the quality of life, our ultra active outdoor lifestyle, our 2 recreational rivers, our 3 lakes, huge and shaded parks like the one we're usually at, Landa Park, walking trails, biking trails, historical charm in downtown and our historical district of Green, hyper-local businesses and hyper-local restaurants, big box stores, big box restaurants. New Braunfels is close to Hill Country, Darlings, Bernie, and Fredericksburg. We have solid, high-performing schools. There's always something to do in New Braunfels, year-round events and activities, and we have friendly people. And all of this is a magnet that draws families to move to New Braunfels from near and far, which is why we're projected to run out of land in New Braunfels. And that's according to the city of New Braunfels for all the reasons we just talked about. The city of New Braunfels is projecting that New Braunfels will run out of land in 2035. Now, note here, that's within city limits. New Braunfels is huge, large geographically, 46 square miles, and a lot of that, a big chunk of that, is hill country where you can build, you have more land to build on, and there's more land in hill country. Now, coming back to city limits, where things here are more tightly packed and builders continue to build. I mean, just between I-35 in New Braunfels and I-10 in Seguin, there are, get this, 23 new communities either under construction or closed out. The city is projecting population to continue growing here well into the 2030s. Here is a more telling breakdown of New Braunfels running out of land. New Braunfels has 25,000 acres within city limits. In 2016, 33% of that 25,000 acres was not developed yet. 4 years later, in 2020, 25% of that acreage was not developed yet. So we lost 8% of our land in just 4 years. So land in New Braunfels is disappearing, and it's disappearing fast. The concern is whenever you have tremendous explosive growth like we've had in New Braunfels and continue to have in New Braunfels, the concern is that infrastructure is not going to catch up or is not caught up with all of that growth. Things like roads, sewer, utilities, water. Eventually, infrastructure through growing pains catches up. But cities like New Braunfels are not in the business of spending money before it's time to spend money. They can make projections, but they cannot project for a worldwide pandemic like we had in 2020, and all of a sudden people able to move wherever they wanted to because now they can work from home. We're talking about growth. We're talking about running out of land. We're talking about all these people moving to New Braunfels. My only concern, and it's a big one, is that someday we may lose some of what gives us New Braunfels our charm. When I pulled up to Landa Park this morning, this is what I saw when I got out of the car. As the sun was rising, deer whether it's at the park, in the neighborhoods, driving around town. It just gives me pure joy to see wildlife up close and personal. I'm also concerned about natural resources like water and where we get our water from in New Braunfels, like the Edwards Aquifer. We've been under a stage 3 water restriction in New Braunfels dating back all the way back to June 2022 when we kicked off record blistering heat, drought conditions, very little rain, which means right now still continue to only water your grass here in New Braunfels within the city limits, within New Braunfels Utility Company limits. Once every other week, you can water your grass by irrigation or sprinkler only once every other week. The New Braunfels Utility Company does say water is a big concern when it comes to growth. They also say that they have a 50-year plan, a sustainable plan to make sure that we don't run out of water. What do you make of all of this? I mean, what do you think of New Braunfels running out of buildable land by 2035 within city limits? What are you thinking? Does this give you pause and saying maybe I just won't move to New Braunfels? Or are you thinking, look, I'm still going to push forward. I'm still moving to New Braunfels. Let me know in the comment section below. And if that's the case, where you still plan on moving to New Braunfels, I would love to be your real estate resource of choice here. You can email me, you can call me, or you can shoot me a text. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching our videos, and we'll see you on the next one.